Welcome back to Heritage House, the second week. I am so excited you're here. I can't believe it's already the second week of this channel. I received some really positive feedback and I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. I'm enjoying it, definitely having fun, just sharing some of the things that I do. I love being creative and I get a lot of inspiration from it, so I am just having fun sharing the things that I like to do with you guys. So first, let's have some breakfast, and then I've got some things I want to share with you. So I'm making my girls some fried eggs, some toast, and a little bit of apple, and we're going to eat outside this morning. They love to be outside. I love to be outside, but they remind me just how much we really are made and created to be outside. They always want to be outside. They're constantly asking me to go outside, and so I try to appease them as much as I can. So they would just be out here all the time if I'd let them. They love to pick flowers and hunt rocks and pick up leaves, and they just have a blast out there. So I want to share with you what I do on Fridays to set myself up for just a smoother, more relaxing weekend. I try to get laundry going. I do laundry almost every day. I just like to do smaller loads and keep it going. But on Fridays, I really try to wrap up the laundry. That way it's not just built up on Monday. I try not to do any laundry over the weekend unless it's just something that's, really necessary. So on Fridays, I try to button up the laundry, just get everything put away, and just so I know when Monday comes, there's going to be less piled up. And then I always try to make a bigger dinner. So today I'm going to be making a big pot of soup, and that will last us through Saturday, and we'll even have leftovers beyond that. And that way I'm not having to worry about cooking dinner on Saturday and can just be more relaxed and have less to do, less work over the weekend. So that is those are my two really, really big things that really help me, is just make sure the laundry is caught up and make a bigger dinner so there'll be leftovers for the weekend. And it's super, super helpful. So you can see I have my little helpers. I've really learned to just let them into what I'm doing. Sometimes they're occupied and playing over in the living room, and sometimes they want to help. And obviously it slows things down, but they are learning to help, and I know it will pay off in the long run by slowing down and letting them help me. So here I'm making this big pot of soup. It is a potato sage soup, kind of has a chicken pot pie sort of vibe, but I'm getting some chicken browning in the Dutch oven and dicing up some vegetables. I'm going to do onion, celery, potato. I'm going to throw some carrots in there and peas. And this is going to be just a warm, comforting meal. I love soups because they're super versatile, and once you have a handle on how to make them, you can do them brothy or creamy. You can just work with what you have. You can follow a specific recipe if you want, but they're so versatile, and you can even thicken in them or thin them out, like depending as you get used to making them. But the most important thing about cooking is don't be afraid of it. And start simple, keep things simple, do things that you like, and just build from there. But to learn anything, you have to just kind of go with it. And cooking really is flexible. It really is flexible. Once you start to learn the basics, you can ebb and flow. I didn't use a recipe for this soup. I just kind of had in mind what I wanted to do. I had a lot of potatoes, and then I had some chicken, and I was like, I didn't have the things I wanted to make a typical potato soup, so I was like, I could do a little bit of a spin on this and make it like a sagey kind of potato pot pie soup. And it turned out really good, and it was a big pot that lasted us several days, and I even froze some of it. So that's always really, really nice to have leftovers and be able to tuck some away in the freezer for a night that you're just busy or don't feel like cooking. I love doing that and highly recommend it if you have some containers and you just have some leftovers and you're kind of over it. Pop them in the freezer. You will thank yourself. Your future self will thank you. So whenever you can successfully make something in one pot, it's so great. And especially when you're cooking like a meat or something before you're making a soup, so great to save all those bits and everything from browning the chicken or the beef or whatever, and it just adds to the flavor. So here I'm sauteing the celery and the onions, and I'll end up throwing the potatoes in here shortly. But that just adds flavor to them. So you're not just like stewing them, but you're sauteing them and getting them to have more of depth of flavor. Just totally worth it. Really, really good, and actually like makes it come together quicker, in my opinion. So one other thing, so this is going to be a thicker soup. It's kind of in between, not super thick, but definitely not just a brothy soup. So I add the flour here. I usually add einkorn flour if I'm not going to sourdough something, but I was out, so I used just organic flour here. And then my broth, put everything together and let it thicken. Just let it thicken up. Once it comes to like a simmer boil, it's thickened. And then the peas, I always add the peas at the end because that they don't take long to cook at all, and that way they stay that nice green color instead of turning into the dark canned pea color. So that's just a tip to keep your peas looking nice and green. Next up, it's time to make some more cookies. Christmas cookies, sugar cookies. So I did these sourdough, of course. I love to just whip up the batter, let it sit in the fridge for a couple days, and then once you're ready to make cookies, just roll them out, cut them, and then decorate them. So it really shortens the day you're making the cookies. I actually made these with my mom, and they turned out so pretty. It was super fun to make them, and it's just a great memory. And in the midst of all this rich food, I like to keep broth on hand, like I'm constantly mentioning, but I love to cook with it. Made soup with some that I had, and then this I will be drinking. It's great to add to a meal, or just use in place of a meal. So back to the rich holiday food. I'm making a pumpkin cheesecake here. I had some pumpkin puree from a pumpkin I got in October that I had in the freezer that I wanted to use, and this just sounded amazing. So it has a ginger snap crust, which was so good, and I loved it. I cannot recommend it enough. Not that I would want to have this all the time, but it's perfect around the holidays. Fall, Christmas, amazing. So good. And the recipe came out perfect. It barely cracked at all and was just totally delicious. I will link the recipe. It's the Farmhouse on Boone pumpkin cheesecake. So good. Cannot recommend it enough. It's funny, last week I ran out of parchment paper during a recipe, and this week I only had 1 pack of cream cheese and I needed 3 for this recipe. So I actually put the crust together before I realized that, but ended up throwing it in the fridge and started up the next day. So the phrase, "the future belongs to the flexible," came to mind. I really like that phrase, and it's so true, especially in cooking. This recipe turned out so delicious. I was really, really happy with it. With cheesecake, you put a water bath in there, and it didn't barely cracked at all. I was so impressed, and it was absolutely delicious. So another fun thing, we got to go to the Nutcracker. Super fun treat. Love the Nutcracker. My mom took my brother and I when we were really young, and it's definitely been a theme and a tradition in my life. Super fun. Super, super fun. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this week, and I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. If you enjoyed this, share it with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe. You guys have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and I'll see you in January.